Test 1, 2, 3. Right. Okay. If you're listening to this right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, do not adjust your screen. Your screen is fine. The coloration is something that I had set. Something I wanted to try, something new. Um, if you think it's too much, let me know. Kind of saw it. I was like, I kind of like the way that looked, and so want to keep it just something different. I was trying with the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hey, I change it back to how I normally would have it. Something different. Um, let's see. Getting ready to start in just a few. Just making some minor adjustments. I'm hoping that everybody's Lord's Day was pretty good today. I'm hoping that you was able to go to church and worship with the rest of the saints and whatnot, and that you were super encouraged and edified by the message. I know I was this morning. Really thankful that I was able to go and fellowship with the body. All right. I think get started in a second. Just test everything. If you're listening to this right now, can you hear me okay? Let me know if it's too loud or whatnot. Let me know. I'm also running a small fan next to me. Do you hear that in the sound or not? That would be helpful information. I greatly appreciate it. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and share this link to my Facebook page. And share the Patreon real quick. Something I have on watching right now, so we all good to go. My computer running slow. Slow it goes. I was running a tad bit behind schedule today. Had some things to take care of prior to going live, and so I'm doing that now. Somebody else? Okay, we'll pick it up, throw it in the trash. Mm, 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 mm. So I'm trying to wait a little bit. I know if you make it public, people get notifications. When my patron says she didn't receive a notification last time I went live, so I'm hoping everybody able to see that. Do, 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 do. All right. Well, I did as much as I can do at this point. Let's dive on in because I don't want to be too long. For those of you may watch this, catch this as I'm going through this live stream. Appreciate you for coming on. If you watch this on the replay, I appreciate you as well. Finna to go ahead and start. Man, it's a busy day. Oh, I got one more thing to pull up. One more thing I got to pull up. So I lied there. I wasn't ready. Let's see. Where we at? Still trying to get used to this Sunday lives. See, I did my second one was last Sunday. It's my third time going live on this Sunday. So it's a different experience each time. The first one went really well as far as the prep and everything. And then last Sunday I was out of town. So that was another thing. All right. Um, so don't need that. All right, one last test. Testing 1, 2, 3. or delay is so serious when I'm showing my desktop, but it's like everything going fine. All right, so let's go and jump into this. I'm tripping. I'm botching the live stream, y'all. Man, y'all missing it. If y'all ain't watching this live right now, you missing some classic. Okay, so that isn't what I needed. It's this one. That. That's what I needed. All right. So, all right. Here's my real start. Cause man, I botched that beginning. Something serious. All right. So for the start, the late start, y'all. It is what it is. Let's get it.
Prescribe truth when giving you what the doctor ordered. Jamal Bandy, apologist, the Lord's servant. We undeserving, but Christ changed our mind frame. In a world full of errors, the only thing the doctor prescribes is truth.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Prescribing Truth. I'm Jamal Banny, the one who seeks to distribute the truth that the doctor prescribes to the church and the world today. Welcome back, man. This has been a great week. I hope you've enjoyed your Lord's Day on today. Last Sunday, I did the show from my hotel room in Atlanta, so I'm glad to be back with my family and whatnot. I did well in my training, passed my test, and so just a couple more left before I can get my certification. Whoop whoop. Anywho, I don't want to be too long tonight. Got things to do, so I want to talk about the reasons that people are giving for not abortions. Yes, want to get into that some more. The reasons people are giving. I've been getting in some good conversations lately with some people I know over Facebook and so on and so forth. And it's amazing to me that what I'm seeing is that people hate children. They hate them. It's like children don't have value until they break through and come from the womb. And it's sad that that this is how we view life. The reasons people are giving is things that you could apply to any situation, anybody outside the womb. Viability, the fact of being able to survive on your own, um, the fact that you may not have enough money, lack of care, or even a corrupt or maybe even a flawed system seems to be valid reasons to kill children. And then the classic thing is instead of viewing them as children, we view them as a clump of cells. And given as what a child is in the womb, all of us would be considered a clump of cells, given as we would have the same makeup. We just matured, body parts grown and developed. But it's amazing to me how that is. Our culture just don't like children. So now I mentioned this in a video that I recently put out, and I mentioned how even in my past, I was for abortion. But I didn't make excuses. It wasn't like a thing where I was like, oh, it's because I didn't have money, or it's because, it's just a couple of cells. It's not really a human being, any of that kind of stuff. I knew that the baby that said girl may be carrying, I want to kill. I don't want it. I want it gone because of my own selfishness. And I knew that. Even then, that's without being a Christian. I knew that. And I'm willing to bet that the most of the people who are arguing for abortion know that too. But it sounds bad coming from our mouths. It doesn't sound good to say that I was okay with murdering a child or I'm for people choosing to murder another child. It doesn't sound good. It sounds bad. It sounds hateful. So who would want to admit such a thing? But that's the reality. That's the reality that people would like to deny. And so, real quick, on the topic of viability, that is a reason a lot of people give. You know, a woman should be able to choose to kill a child in a womb because it can't survive outside of her womb. So that's the reason to kill it. If it can't survive, if its viability level is low, then it doesn't have a right to live. It doesn't have that right like you and I have. But then what do we say with the one who's on the breathing machine? That without that machine pumping air into their lungs, they would die. What about the one who's on life support as we speak? Now they do pull the plug in those cases and everything, but that's not murder. That's consent that was given. This person obviously there's nothing that they can do else to submit to cause a person to continue to live and so on and so forth. So the family usually has to make a decision. So that's not somebody intending to murder. They're trying to save the life of an individual, but there's no way they could do it, and that's where that comes to play. But to say that just because the fetus, the baby, can't survive on its own means that it deserves to die, or its life is in someone else's hands to be able to say, "Hey, I don't want you, therefore you have to die." That's not a valid reason. Not a valid reason. And we're talking about innocent blood here, not someone who's done you wrong, not somebody who been angry with you, mad at you for whatever reason. It's innocent. Baby's done no wrong, yet has its days numbered, and people can choose to kill it. Another reason that I hear is definitely dealing with the foster care system being overpacked. It's people. It's not enough money to take care of everything, and so on and so forth. Well, if we go off of the fact that the foster care system is bad and therefore we can't or we should kill this child, then well, what about the prison systems? Because they're overcrowded and and they're flawed. So we can't trust that people will go there. So instead of when somebody commits a crime, the best thing that we should do then is to kill them. Just put them to death. Don't send them to jail because it's packed. It's overcrowded. They're not gonna be treated fairly. They're not gonna be able to eat well. Whatever case may be, take them out. They committed a crime. Let the punishment be automatic death. You know, and I know that may sound like it's overstretching a little bit, but come on, y'all. Let's bring things down to the logical conclusions of what we're saying. People are saying that the life inside of the womb of a mother is not valuable, and does not have the same rights that you and I have. But for what reason? What differentiates me from the child in the womb as far as my value and my dignity, the inherent value and dignity that we all have? What separates me? That my body is more matured, that I've been around a lot longer. That's it. My eyes are more developed, my senses are more developed, my body's more developed. That's it. But that gives me more rights than the baby. But the same thing can be said with an infant, an unborn child, a child that's a newborn. The same thing. The newborn child can't survive on its own. You take a newborn child out of a mother and you put them out on their own. They can't survive. They need someone to take care of them. The mother to take care of them, the father, the hospital. Somebody has to take care of that newborn child in order for it to survive. So, what's the difference between the one in the womb and the infant that's outside the womb? The one inside the womb is dependent on the mother who's carrying it. The one outside the womb can either depend on the mother, the father, or anyone else to give it nutrients so it can survive. That's it. That's it. So viability cannot be a sufficient reason to want to murder a child in the womb. The welfare system not being up to par should not be a reason to kill a child. The biggest things that I've seen people bring up, the most emotional driven arguments are the one of the 11-year-old, 14-year-old rape victim, not rapist, sorry, rape victim, and the mother whose life is in jeopardy because of the pregnancy. Now, I'm going to address one of those right now, and I'm going to address the other one later. So, the one I want to address now is the mother whose life is threatened. Life is threatened. And I mentioned this in a Facebook comment I did earlier when I was talking to a gentleman. If the mother's life is threatened, and they have to make a choice whether to save the mother or save the child, or maybe it's better that maybe the child may not even survive if the mother even has to die. But what is that? If there has to be a choice, most likely they're going to go with the mother surviving. But check this out: no one is intending to kill the child. Look at that. No one is saying, "I don't want this child, therefore kill it," or "This child is causing me discomfort, kill it." For it to get to that point, concerning the mother's health, that means they've done everything they could do to try to let the babies live, to keep the baby alive, and also keep the mother healthy and alive. And it seems that there's no way to get past this, that it's going to be a risk. And if there's going to be a risk, they'd rather save the mother. In that case, they're not murdering the child. They're not. So, like I said, it's the same thing we talk about the individual who's on life support. You know, if the time comes to pull the plug, it's not murdering that individual. There's a choice that has to be made. No, there's no way possible to continue on to keep the person alive. You know, they have a certain amount of time. You know, and so people have to make a choice. So it's not the same. Now, the subject of the rape victim. Let me repeat that. Now, on the subject of the rape victim, rape is horrible. And I feel like even as a Christian, I shouldn't feel like I have to say this every time I'm dealing with this subject. Is when somebody bring up the ridiculous argument of dealing with the rape victim. Because we all know that rape is horrible, wrong, and that rapists should be punished to the full extent of the law. I believe that they should be put to death, castrated, or both. Like that's what needs to be that needs to happen to the rapist. All right. But we have an instance where a rapist has impregnated a female, some older, some younger. And now it seems to me that the argument gets more emotional the younger of the age of the individual we're talking. But I'm going to keep it in the scope of all ages. The ages of which pregnancy happens by rapists is horrible. It's bad. You know, it's distasteful. But the child within them that is developing, that has a heartbeat, that is, you know, that's developing lungs, developing a brain, hands, feet, everything else. They didn't do the crime. They didn't do the crime, and therefore they should not have to be punished because of the sins of their father. And the argument is because this woman will go through trauma of carrying this child that came from her rapist. Carrying her child that came from a rapist. And then if the baby is born, she is forced to look at this baby who resembles her rapist, and she has to deal with that for the rest of her life. And that should be reason enough to kill a child. And if that is the reason we're going to give, then why does it have to stop at the womb? Because it's trauma. If the woman has already given birth to her rapist children, why not kill the child as an infant? What makes it less hurtful? The woman still has to deal with trauma. The baby's already born. Baby's here, living, probably in grade school. Why stop there? Why not kill the child as an infant? But see, we will all see that as wicked and evil. And you can sit there and say all day long, oh, I know, I can understand her because she went through trauma and so on and so forth. But you would not say that's justification for killing an infant child, or a 3-year old or a 5-year old. You wouldn't say that, even though that's the product of a rape. But here, because the child is still in the womb, it's deemed to be okay. Be okay, because you got to understand that this woman has gone through something traumatic. I'm sorry. There's nothing more traumatic than being ripped apart piece by piece, sucked through a tube, and being counted as nothing but a lump of cells. And that's all you are. That's traumatic. But that infant, that baby, doesn't get to express that trauma. They don't get to live to tell us how traumatic that was to go through that, because they're dead. Rape victim lives on, prayerfully. You know, some rape victims don't live through the ordeal, but some live on, and it's painful, and it's hurt that they have to deal with. But there's hope for them. There's an answer for their pain. There's an answer for their trauma, and all of that is found in Christ. Christ gives us peace. He's the one who provides us with peace and security. And even if this life gives us a whole bunch of lemons, sour lemons, man, he's promised us eternal life where everything will be good. There's a hope outside of this world. So it's something to look forward to. Now, that may not be enough for you because you want your best life now. But I'm okay with waiting for my best life to come. And I hope that for any rape victim that's gone through that ordeal, that they would trust in Christ. Look to him. Look to him to satisfy their need of peace and tranquility. But murdering the child is not going to bring them peace. It's not going to stop the trauma of the event that happened. It's not going to change what happened. It won't. But murdering a child is going to be extra guilt onto that parent, onto that mother. And if she doesn't want to raise a child, there's options out there. There are other options other than murdering a child. There are other options. They're available. You can take advantage of them. So I'm not hearing any valid reason of wanting to murder an unborn child. I don't think there is any. I've talked about how shocking it was and is that there are even Christians who are standing for abortion. Even heard briefly, I haven't even read on it. I need to, but even something about Lecrae even saying something for it, like against the bills that were passed. I'm like, wow, interesting. We have to really think about how we view life. When does life become valuable? When does life become important? Is life only important if it can contribute something to society? Is it only important if it doesn't have any defects? I mean, because that was one of the arguments I heard too, is that we make this child come in the world that this person doesn't want, and what about when the person finds out that the child is going to have birth defects and so on and so forth? Then we should like keep that child from having to suffer through life and just take them out. How do you know that child wants to die? How do you know that child doesn't want to have a fight at life? How do you know that? You don't. You're making that decision for it. Then another argument: a woman should have the right to choose what to do with her body. It's her body. Nobody should tell her what to do with it. And it's funny. Now, as I think about this, maybe you guys can correct me. But think about this. Every law that we have in place tells a person what to do with their bodies, right? We have a law that tells us the punishment if we assault someone. That's something we're doing with our bodies. We're using our bodies as weapons, right? We're assaulting someone. We use our body to jaywalk. We use our body to, what else I can say? Oh, we use our body. We get in the car and we drive. We go heavy on the pedal and we drive fast, faster than the speed limit. We use our body to do that. We use our mouths to threaten people, bomb threats, threaten the president, whatever case may be. And there are laws to govern us on those areas. Just naming a couple of things. We're told what to do with our bodies. What is wrong with it then? Should we throw out all laws? Should I or you be able to go and attack anyone you want to because it's your body and nobody should tell you what to do with your body? So go and attack somebody. Use your body as a weapon and go be brutal. Should that be okay? I mean, why should it be wrong? I know why you say it's wrong. You would say it's wrong because I'm using my body and the right to do with my body to violate somebody else's. I mean, it's the same thing with the rape. The rapist should then go free because the rapist has the choice to do with their body as they want to do. But it's because they're choosing to use their body as an instrument to cause someone else's body harm. And therefore it's wrong. But then I ask the question, why is it okay then to abort a child? Because a woman is using her body, she's having a choice with her body to kill and to harm another one. That should not be. It shouldn't be. That's another body inside. All right. So, yes, she has her body, but there's another body that she's dealing with, another one. And does that body have rights? Should that body have a choice, a say in the matter of whether or not they want to live or die? They should. They should. That's how I'm arguing there. The reasons people give for abortion is beyond me. And what I believe it is ultimately is because they know that they don't value life like they should. They know that that unborn child has value. They know it. They know that child has value. They know that child has dignity, but they hate it. I don't care what you say. Anybody who's saying that it's okay, it should be okay to murder an unborn child hates children. Don't care. Hate them. Now, real quick, I found it interesting. That was on an article I looked up. We're talking about the issue of the case of the young woman, a lady who gets pregnant by a rapist, or incest relationships. I saw that the youngest woman in history, that is as far as I know, was in the 1930s, and I want to say her name was Lena Medina. She was 5 years old, 5 years old, pregnant because of her grandmother's partner, 64-year-old man, 65-year-old man, had sex with her, got her pregnant. The baby was carried full term, and the baby was born healthy. All right. 5. 11-year-old girl in Argentina was pregnant by another family member. Oh, no, man. You know what? I got those stories mixed up. In Argentina, it was the grandmother's uh, partner that did it, not the 5-year-old girl. I don't know how she got pregnant at 5, but it was either rape or incest. I don't know, but that was a long time ago, 1930s. So forgive me for that. But in Argentina, that was her case. 11-year-old girl. She had to have a C-section. Now, in Argentina, the 5-year-old baby was born healthy. The one 11-year-old they wasn't sure about. So now what happened was with her is that Argentina has relaxed laws, and so she wanted to have an abortion, but the doctors wouldn't do it. When it came time to have it done, it was too late. She was 23 weeks, and they felt like it had been unhealthy. It had been a risk for her life to go through the abortion, and they had to go through some custodial laws and all the kind of stuff like that to try to even get the green light to go forward.